Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast of brief messages to help humanity bridge the gap to the new earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard. It is my delight to be a scribe for consciousness today, sharing the wisdom that flows through from Source. Here we go. Episode 267. It is Thursday, a gorgeous day again here in Cincinnati. I was driving Star to daycare this morning and the sunrise was absolutely incredible. We had those clouds, when sometimes in the morning the clouds are like little ripples of white and they make these lines across the sky, and then when the sun comes up it creates oranges and reds and pinks and purples that come through those little lines. Oh, it was amazing. So that will be the image for today's podcast. It is a little on the cool side, perfect for a run. Probably going to warm back up again because we live in Cincinnati. That's what happens here, especially when the seasons are changing. We can go 30 to 40 degrees in one day. It's ridiculous. Yeah, so it's Thursday. We are in Saturn direct. I had to look up again the descriptions in Astro Mama, and I realized when I was describing it yesterday, the boulder up the hill comment actually came from Astro Twins, who I follow on Instagram. So if you haven't followed them before, check out what they have to offer. They had a beautiful description yesterday about pushing this boulder up the hill that energetically we've been doing since April. I think they said the middle of April. And then when I reread Astro Mama's post, she described how we can see the peak of the mountain and we're being encouraged to keep going. So those two images feel really important right now. And what I thought we could tune into is how the body feels, our physical human bodies feel in either one of those images. So whichever resonates more with you. If it literally feels like for the last few months you have been climbing uphill with a boulder in front of you, trying to get the boulder to the top of the mountain, if that literally feels like your journey, then use that image as a way to flow with what I'm going to describe for us today. If it feels more like you've been strolling up the mountain, hasn't been all that busy or stressful or overwhelming, and you've got your little walking stick, like I picture the Swiss Alps, and you're just sort of climbing your way up, and you can see the top, and the whole point was for you to get to the top, so you can enjoy the journey down. Then use that image as we go through this exercise together. What I have been feeling in my own body, and I've been describing this during the week, is how the body shifts. I'll use my own body as an example. My body is shifting physically as the energy is shifting first. And so as I feel into this expansion and going out into more community activities and being more physically present with lots of people, the energetic opening up of the door and stepping out in bigger ways, that energy creates a physical manifestation in my body. And so what has been happening for me all week is this physical releasing of anything in my physical body that is sort of stuck old energy. That looks like mucus. It looks like lethargy, however you say that word, like being a little more sluggish and more tired. And there's been some fogginess in my brain, which I don't always have that. Scratchiness in my throat, dry eyes, not sleeping as well. All these physical manifestations are a way for my physical body to prepare for the energy that's going to be moving through me. So it's like a cleansing or releasing. The new that is arriving needs my body to be stronger, healthier, and more agile, nimble, able to adapt quickly and move in different directions and have more, I guess I would say, what would I say? It's preparing for more energies around me engaging with me without me being drawn into those lives and struggles that I witness. So the old version of who I used to be for a long time was I would feel everything that everyone around me was feeling. And then my physical body would get tired or sick or emotionally sad because I could feel the sadness of the person next to me. I would get drawn into the stories and almost go into those people's energy fields or lives, trying to help them, trying to fix them. And it would take a toll on my physical body to be that empathic, to feel what they were feeling. And so what I have been practicing for many years now is, how do I still track or be able to relate to or understand or sense what is happening in the lives of the people around me without bringing it into my physical body, without having to fix it or save it or change it. Just witness, hold space, love, and support. I've gotten really, really good at it. And the toll on my body has been almost nothing. I've really found ways to keep my energy field clear and solid and steady, and still be able to support lots of people. Quite a bit of that I do from my home, so phone sessions and the virtual work that I do and the podcast virtually being sent out. There's a lot that I've been able to manifest from the cocoon of this space. And what I am finding is I am energetically preparing and ready for being out so much more in the communities around me, and still being able to do as much work or more than I've been doing from my home. Why is that necessary? Because we're needing more connection. We are humans who are craving physical eye contact, physical hand-holding, hugs, conversation that's live right in front of us, person to person, not over phones. We're still going to do the phone stuff. We're still going to do the virtual stuff. But there's this draw to actually be around each other, to have human contact. And so my ability to be in spaces and hold an energetic field that's really clear and solid for people to share and talk and laugh and heal without anyone doing it for the other, each person doing it for themselves. That's taken some releasing over the last couple weeks for my body to prepare for that. So I didn't realize that's what we were going to talk about, but that's what's been happening inside of me. And not judging it, simply witnessing it and allowing that to happen, lets it happen much faster and much easier than if I was mad at myself or judging the process of being sick. I'm like, yeah, we're releasing. Okay, what do I need to do, right? And you just do the thing you're supposed to do, and it just moves through very quickly. So for me, I have tools in place that I can navigate these transitions. So here we are, Saturn going direct. So if you think about this image of pushing a boulder up the hill, if for 5 months, astrologically, Saturn has been retrograde, and our bodies have been feeling that because we are universal souls in human bodies. We feel what's happening universally, galactically, outside of this planet. Our minds may not be able to understand it, but our bodies are feeling when things are changing. So if we have had this sense in our physical bodies of struggle, of pushing, of effort, of trying to get things done, of needing to make something happen, of struggling to make everything work, if our bodies have been matching the astrological energy of struggle, of pushing, of forcing, and we've been doing it for 5 months, feel, along with all the other ups and downs and new moon and full moon and like all the other stuff, but if that's been one of the biggest underlying stressors, and our body has been feeling that and tracking that for months, and then suddenly our astrologists remind us, hey, Saturn's going direct, things are going to get easier. We can start to feel it, right? I felt the shift yesterday. I'm sure many people did. They just felt a little bit better. When we're moving from all of that pushing, all of that effort, into a new feeling of ease and grace, it makes sense that there's going to be some wobbling in the middle. You can't push a boulder up a hill for 5 months, get to the top, and just step aside, watch the boulder run down the hill, and just slowly start strolling down the hill like nothing has happened. Your muscles are tired. Your body is exhausted. Your adrenals are probably strained or feeling the stress, the effort that you have put on your body. And so there is likely going to be an in-between space, a space where you know you're not pushing the boulder anymore, but you're not quite sure what you're supposed to be doing because it seems way too easy to just start walking down a hill. Or if your version of the story is going up the mountain with a walking stick and it's been pretty easy, when you get to the top of the mountain, if you've been walking up this mountain and your legs have been stretching and your lungs have been pumping and you're at the top of the peak, you might have a little bit of dizziness because you're at a high altitude now, because you've been at this steady pace going, and now you're stopping for a moment. And you know you're about to go down the hill, and before you just start rolling or running down that hill, you want to shift your pace. It takes more effort for the muscles to go up and less effort for the muscles to go down. So you're going to have some transition between the two. That feels like what is possible today, tomorrow, maybe even this weekend. A little bit of spaciousness to acknowledge how much we've been doing, how much effort has been required, the accomplishment of climbing a mountain, whatever that mountain looks like for you or me. The fact that we did it, maybe taking that pause at the top of the mountain to look back down and go, whoa, I see this, and this over the past 5 months. Like, that was significant. Look at all these things we've accomplished since April. I mean, I look back at my journey since April and damn, like, I've been busy. There's been a lot going on. It's the same for all of us. Maybe it's been emotional for you, not physical creations. Maybe it's been relationship, massive shifts. If you have the image of pushing the boulder up the hill, likely when someone is doing that, if we play with that image, if you see yourself and you're pushing a boulder, all you can see, if the boulder is big, is the boulder in front of you and the knowing that you're still going uphill because it hasn't started rolling down yet. You may not even have been able to look around the boulder. So maybe, excuse me, maybe all that you've been able to see is the health crisis in front of you, or the financial stress in front of you, or the work drama. Whatever your boulder has been, if you've been pushing it up the hill, that's all you've been able to see in front of you. Unless maybe sometimes you peeked around it. But odds are, excuse me, more throat clearing. Odds are you haven't stopped very often from pushing the boulder to look back, because all your focus has been on trying to just take that one step forward. So maybe as you sit in this space in between over the weekend at this resting point, the boulder's no longer being pushed up the hill. You've reached the top. Maybe everything just pauses and you just sit and look at the boulder and you're exhausted, but you're looking at it. This is the boulder that you've been pushing up the hill. Maybe you can sit in this space and look back down the hill like, oh my God, I didn't even realize I missed that. I didn't see that. This was a connection point. I didn't realize this whole grid was building behind me while I've been pushing the boulder. Maybe you even pause for a moment and look ahead, look down the other side. Where are you going to go if you're not pushing the boulder up the hill? What would life even look like if that change could happen? This idea yesterday of a tipping point. Sometimes we've got to sit right on the precipice, right at the space in between, and honor the one side of the tipping point and honor the other side of the tipping point, and just sit in the space and trust the timing, knowing the exact moment when that boulder is going to start moving down the hill, it will happen. the exact moment you choose to cross over the continental divide, if that's the mountain that you've been climbing, and you step onto the other side, you're going to have this incredibly beautiful walk down the hill, down the mountain. But sometimes we have that pause in the middle, and it's necessary. It allows us to catch our breath, to breathe more deeply, to let go of the dizziness, to feel our bodies, to see where our bodies have been strained, to nourish ourselves, drink some water, eat some food, sit. Maybe if you've been pushing boulders or walking up hills, you haven't even taken time to sit. So what would that look like? Do you sit outside in the grass and breathe in fresh air? Do you lay in a beautiful park and look up at the sky and feel your hands and your body on the grass? It's going to be different for each person, so you just trust what ideas come to mind and what feels good to you. And then give yourself that in-between space. I'm calling the podcast Studying the Wobble. It feels wobbly when we go from retrograde to direct. It feels wobbly when we've been doing one way for many months and now we're realizing maybe we're shifting to another way. So take some time and steady whatever that wobble is inside of you. And then the next steps you take will be more solid, more firm, more directed, not as scary. And the other little fun image to play with if you're looking at this boulder idea or climbing a mountain is, what if there's a whole bunch of other people that have all been doing the exact same thing, but because we're all in our own little silos, our own little worlds, we believe we're the only ones who've been pushing boulders up a hill and we're the only ones climbing the mountain. But when we stop looking at the ground right in front of us or the boulder right in front of us and we look around, we can see there's 10, 20, hundreds, thousands, millions of others who have been going through the same thing. How do I know that? Because we are all astrologically guided, whether we know it or admit it or not. So everyone has been in the same collective soup. We're just so in our own worlds, we don't realize everyone else is also experiencing it. So yeah, ease up a little on judging ourselves for pushing boulders or climbing mountains and realize there's lots of other people that are in the exact same place doing the exact same thing. So when you take time and you steady your own wobble, feel how there's lots of other people that are doing it too. So when we all stand up and decide to start walking down the mountain, we're not doing that by ourselves either. And maybe we could start having some conversations with the other mountain climber walkers, boulder pushers. Maybe we can open up to more dialogue, more engagement, having a little more fun, sharing our war stories while we walk down the other side of the mountain together, handing each other a snack, pausing when we see a beautiful lake and filling up our water bottles together. There's so much goodness that is arriving, and it doesn't have to be as much work as it's been. So take some time, steady the wobble. Yeah, and then we'll see what's next. Thank you for tuning into this vibration of pure love. I invite you to join me in aligning with the optimal health of your mind, body, spirit in the virtual community of Viv's Energy Gym. You can learn more at mysouljourney.com. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.